Chapter 1. The House on Black Hollow Road. The house had been empty for years. Or so they said. Lena Parker never believed in ghost stories, but when she moved to Black Hollow Road, she felt something she couldn't quite explain, a sense of being watched. The house, a Victorian-era monstrosity, loomed over the street like a vulture perched on a dying branch. The locals avoided it. They whispered about the people who had lived there before, how they had disappeared without a trace. Lena wasn't superstitious. She had bought the house for a steal, eager to escape the noise and bustle of the city. But on her first night, as she unpacked boxes in the dim glow of a single lamp, she heard it, a soft creaking from upstairs. She froze. Her breath hitched in her throat. The house was old, wood creaked and settled, she reasoned. But then she heard it again, footsteps, slow and deliberate, moving across the floor above her. She wasn't alone. Chapter 2, The Whispering Shadows. Days passed, and the sounds continued. Always at night. Always when she was alone. One evening, Lena decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight and a growing sense of dread, she climbed the narrow staircase, each step groaning beneath her weight. The hallway was cold, colder than the rest of the house. The air smelled of dust and something sickly sweet, like rotting flowers. She reached the end of the hall and found a door slightly ajar. It led to the attic. Inside, the air was thick with shadows. Her flashlight beam flickered as if struggling against the darkness. Then she saw them, faint outlines, almost human, shifting in the corners of her vision. And then, whispers. Her name. Lena. The voice was barely audible, but it filled the space around her. She staggered back, nearly dropping the flashlight. The darkness swirled, forming vague shapes. Hollow-eyed figures with stretched mouths, moving closer. She ran. Chapter 3, The Hollow Ones. Sleep became impossible. Lena felt their presence everywhere, lurking in mirrors, watching from darkened corners. The house was alive, and it was hungry. She scoured local records, desperate for answers. Black Hollow Road had a history. The previous owners had vanished, but before that, there had been deaths, gruesome, unexplained. A family in 1902 found clawing at the walls, their eyes gouged out. A writer in 1956 who had been found hanging in the attic, his body desiccated, as if drained of something vital. The legend called them the Hollow Ones. Spirits of the lost, eternally starving for something they could never have again. Life. And now, they wanted her. Chapter 4, The Descent. Lena decided to leave. She packed in a frenzy, ignoring the voices pleading, screaming, promising. As she reached the door, it slammed shut. The windows locked themselves. The walls groaned like a living thing. Then, the lights died. In the suffocating dark, they came. Crawling from the walls, slipping through the cracks. Hollow eyes, empty mouths, stretching toward her. She ran for the attic, the one place they seemed to gather. If there was a way to stop them, she had to find it. In the attic, the air pulsed with their presence. And there, in the center of the room, was something she hadn't noticed before, a trapdoor in the floor. With trembling hands, she pried it open. Chapter 5, The Price of Escape. Beneath the trapdoor was a pit, deeper than seemed possible. The walls were lined with bones. So many bones. The whispers swelled into screams. The hollow ones surged forward, their mouths stretching wide. Lena realized the truth, the house had to be fed. That was the price of living here. Those who stayed too long became part of it. A choice. Lena's breath came in shallow gasps. She had two options, be taken, or offer something in her place. Her trembling fingers reached for her phone. Dialed the realtor's number. The house would be listed for sale in the morning. And it would wait for the next owner. The end.